Boom. There we are. Happy Wednesday, Fashion Dolls, April 29th is the last day in this month. 2 more days left in April, and welcome to another episode of Style Theory. Without further ado, this gentleman here is no stranger to the show and catch up with a dear friend of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Dollhouse Q Dawkins. How have you been, stranger? We spoke yesterday. It's been a minute since we did our very first interview, and so much has changed since then. How has 2026 been for you thus far?
2026 has been very educational. I would say that my other talents have been triggered by the change of the economy and just the environment. And social science has played a big part in just understanding what is going on a deeper level, even spiritually. Um, a lot of things that I were doing at one point seems to like it's always changing. So I'm still a producer. I'm still an actor. I'm still entertained. I still sing. I've had some moments, 26, to do live poetry and open mic. Um, I have been wanting to create more, but it's almost like sitting back and letting God or the universe open the door when it's time for you to go. Right now, I don't think it's not my time. I think
I had this
it's
conversation yesterday with, I
go
was
for it.
just talking to Kate Tukes on the phone. Um, Shout outs to y'all, Chef Sky. Shout outs to my girl, Chef Sky. Shout outs to my brother, Kate Tukes. We just got off the phone a few minutes ago before coming on to do our interview Q. And we were talking about the power, we were talking about manifestation and putting it out there. You know, whatever it is that is something that you want to work on. And I also said it yesterday in my interview with DC Chambers, how important it is, the importance of manifestation, and that is if something that you want to do in your career, in your dreams, in your visions, whatever you want to do, go for it. And I wholeheartedly, I tell people this at the end of my show, and I told you this yesterday on the call. I tell people to live life through fire. Live life through fire. I'm a
Like is your last?
Scorpio, and yes, Scorpios, we are daredevils. And for me, I would say I love taking risk. I've been that way since I was a baby, since I was 7 years old. I've always been a risk taker. Out of growing up, out of all of my siblings, I have four brothers and two sisters. Each and every one of us, we have our own personalities. And
Mm,
my mom and dad have raised each and every one of us to go after whatever it is that you envision. The one who was the most risk taking, that was a daredevil. I can remember when I want to say either 4 or 5 years old, we had the Ringley Brothers Circus. So it's a little funny story. I remember this, and my mom, she told it to me. Wow. I, it was all the animals, it was the whole shebang. And we sat up in the nosebleeds, and I was like, shut the door, shut the door, shut the door, get on up out of here. Shut the door. I got to get on up out of. They could not stop laughing. I wanted to get up out of there. I was terrified of those animals. And I was maybe 4 or 5 at the time. And then before we got into the actual circus where the show was, I was sticking my fingers in the drinks. They had the little drinks. So that just goes to show you how much of a little rebel I was in the making. But as I got older, I wanted to do entertainment. I wanted to do something in the form of entertaining. I always knew it would be something. Yes, that was bad and wrong to do, but I didn't know any better at that time. And that just goes to show you it shaped me and molded me into the person that you guys see today, which is this, how can I say it? As T.S. Madison would say, you're an outlaw, you are a daredevil, you are a risk taker,
mm.
and it makes us a villain in a way sometimes. And we've heard people
Because
say,
we
what's
don't.
your villain era? What's your villain era? What are you gonna do to be better than the next and the next and the next? I always, and I said this to K Tubes. K Tubes can vouch for me. Shout outs to my brother, and y'all make sure y'all go and check out his platform too. He knows this. He knows that I've always been one to push the envelope and not afraid to shy away from certain things in my career. Um, and I was just telling someone this. The image changes, the fashions, and everything like that. I would say it's all due to just being a daredevil. stepping out of your
there's
comfort
a
zone. And
there's an
yeah,
evolution that we go through, and I think that that's exactly it. Um, and I said this earlier today to someone. You, what do you want? Because some people, it's fame, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, it's the money. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people, they probably are on a spiritual path, and you just can't see it. Um, and I think that mine is more spiritual. Therefore, when I move by the spirit. I have not done live, my live in a few, a minute, a good minute. And the reason why is because I don't think that my voice is important. I think that what I stand for is important. So I want people to know what I stand for. So when I get back to show my face, people understand that regardless of anything silly I may do, anything that doesn't seem the norm that I may do, what I stand for morally is beyond the idea of what society says is right, wrong, or how a person should be. It's what is right. And that's all I'll stand for is what is right. So I've been sharing people from different walks of life and people of different colors who are saying the same things about the current state of America because where I'm at is I am trying to find my voice in this chaos in a logical way because I am not that naive to put myself out there without having the right things in place to protect myself. So I want to be smart about how I move because I know that I'm an influencer, but I am very responsible with how I influence because I know that's my gift to influence. So I rather influence people on positivity versus negativity, and I even not share, but I monetize or I am in control of myself on social media. We get all these different content and stuff that's coming at us, but we choose our program, and I choose my make sure that it's more positive content that I am seeing that is beneficial to me versus me seeing things that are toxic because it doesn't do anything for my mind or my soul. If anything, it adds more stress. If we having enough stress, is in this world alone. Um, but when it's time, and I don't think it's time yet, but when it's time, the things that I want to do are going to probably be completely different than what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. Because my purpose in all that I do is to make an impact, be a positive impact, be a voice. I might not be in a pulpit, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still doing the work of God, even though it's the way that Jesus would do it. Basically, it's the way that God sees fit for me. And I'm going to walk that walk because I know that that's my calling. Not to preach, but to wake people up in a way to let them know one, there's no white and black. There's never been a white and black. We are all one. We're all just one people. And when we can figure that out, I think that there could be a little bit more substance and appreciation for content and music, for history. Because we shouldn't feel shame about the past. We should learn from the past and grow and move past it, knowing that, okay, this is where we were and this is where we want to go and this is who we are. But right now, it's almost like, it's a heavy time right now spiritually, mentally and spiritually and financially. It's a heavy time. And I think that creatively, it's been what's been holding me back because I have to process everything. I'm still processing things as I maneuver in this industry. Because this industry isn't what people think it is. There's devils everywhere. There's angels everywhere. But in this industry, I've met some people who you would think were devils, but they really just victims of the demonic shit, and they're still not woke themselves. I have a few experiences with a few celebrities. Can't really say names, but I will say this: I'm not mad at them for our relationships and our encounters, but I do feel bad for them because I know that regardless of how things have nurtured them to become, that deep down inside they actually are good people, and there's still that child innocent part of them still is there, and they honestly just need someone. They need a really good team to be there to help them as they're moving forward in this industry. Someone like Diddy, for example, that person was nurtured at a young age to become the monster that he is. But that is not, that's still a victim. He's only acting out, only acted out based on the things that was done to him. And sometimes money corrupts people when you think that you got so much power and you can just do anything.
Look where we're,
But one thing,
not to cut you off, Q, but look where we're at currently right now. These men are in power with money. They have used their money and they're abusing their power to hurt us, the American people. And I get what you're saying about a monster. The, you're absolutely spot on about that because that's something that I've been saying as well too, as well as my colleagues. And shout outs to my girl, Faith is the substance. Faith, we need to collab, girl. We need to set a date etched in stone. I've been telling people about it. They waiting on it, girl. So let me know. Y'all going over subscribe to my girl, Faith is the substance. But I love what you just said because I've been saying that as well as K Tukes, as well as others, which is hurt people hurt people. Diddy is a monster. Puffy is a monster. And we know that the person who is currently occupying the government space and these people who are operating the way they're operating are monsters. They don't care about their feelings. And it is a word for that. It's a German word called
it's
Schadenfreude.
sickening.
Have y'all ever heard of that word? Where people are addicted to the suffering of others. They don't care. They are narcissists. They don't care how others' pain and suffering impacts them. They will keep
No,
inflicting pain onto
I
others
don't
and they
think
will
that
keep
they're
doing
not. I don't
and
think that
again.
they're narcissists. I think that they more so are sociopaths.
Yeah, that too. And it's another word that I use, and I say it all the time. It's called megalomaniacs. They do not care about the chaos and the pain that they inflict onto other people and their lives and how it's impacting regular everyday people. Right now, people are hurting. And it's like, why must you be so cruel? Why must you be so vindictive and evil? So, yes, these people were grew up, they've seen things. Children are taught these things at a very young age. If you were taught to be a racist, I'm not going to call that man's name, but I will say Orange Piggy. If you have been taught to be a racist, what exact behavior are you going to portray years later? This man's father was
No,
a
I don't
documented
think,
Klansman.
but I don't think that Trump is a racist. This is the crazy part. What I think that Trump has is the same issue that a lot of people are having, which is self-hate and not knowing themselves. Trump couldn't get into the
You know
club,
what?
so he wants to attack the people. He wants to attack the people that he wants to be a part of it. He wants to. He wanted to be them, but because he can't be them, he wants to be better and bigger than them. So therefore, he has to paint a image and join an agenda in order to deflect on the insecurities and self hate that he has for himself when he knows that he doesn't like himself. When you're trying to get
You
with
know
Janet
what?
Jackson's sister, you don't hate black people. She didn't want you.
Boom.
Not Reby.
Because
What's her name?
and a lot of you don't know this. Q, you've got a point because Donald Trump is an immigrant. His great grandfather was an immigrant. It runs in his family lineage. So people will run away from the exact thing they don't want to be labeled. These are white supremacists, and they are a, a
Immigrant.
people of color. They have that in, yes, and they have that in their bloodline, and they don't want to identify with that, but they would rather identify with white adjacency. And that's what we're seeing right now. So, Q, you are absolutely spot on because, yes, Donald Trump is an immigrant. So he hates the very people that he is himself. That is no lie. Boom, spot on right there.
But I it's been I think a comedian who I'm not too fond of anymore. His name is Steve Harvey. Made a comment that sometimes in comedy the best comedians are the ones that actually live life. And as far as the label that I give myself, which is an entertainer, that's where I'm at right now. I'm living my life. I'm evolving. I'm growing, and I'm trying to get my foundation stable in a way that is going to benefit me in the long run because I know my vision, my purpose, and I know what I have to do in order to get to where I want to go. So I'm being patient. The pressure is on me, but I'm being patient and letting God do what He's going to do and make a way. Don't know how or which way it is. I know that I have been blessed to be in rooms with people who never thought I would be in rooms with or know people that I know, but it's not what you know, what you bring to the table. So therefore, that means put the work in for myself. So I have something to put on that table to them and negotiate their business because God already set everything in front of me. But until I do the self work, I'm not going to be, never going to be able to walk through those doors. And what do I want to gain from those doors? It's about being an influence, a positive influence, a wake up influence. That's all.
And that you
The
are.
money part,
And not to cut you off, but what you said earlier, where you said, my voice, your voice does matter, Q. I've seen. What did I always tell y'all this, and I told everybody this yesterday. I'm a Scorpio. I see everything. When you don't expect me to be watching and pay attention, I see everything. I see your stories. I see everything. And I see that you have a voice and that you're using your platform. And I would say continue to keep doing what you're doing more than ever. What you're doing is helping people, and people are paying attention to it. We didn't get the followers that we have now by people just saying, don't use your voice. No, it's because some people are scared to say certain things. And being a host of a platform, it goes back to what you said earlier. It's a big responsibility. And that's why I'm careful with what I say and what I do. And what makes me, I think, so beloved is the fact that I'm able to say the things that people are scared to say. And I just jump right into the meat and potatoes. And I do it in a way with one of my guests told me that I had, what did he say? And it was Eric Andrews, Eric, who I just recently had on. Eric says you do it with nuance. So you got to have nuance. And that's what you're doing. You're not, pulling anyone's leg, stepping on anyone's toes. You were just doing it in your own way. So I say continue to keep doing what you're doing and using your voice. Don't ever, trust me. And I can relate to that because I felt at a certain point in time when you're labeled an outcast or the black
oh
sheep
yeah,
where
I
you
know I'm an
speak truth to
outcast.
power.
Hey, outcast is
Yes, and
rock.
there's nothing wrong with that. Or the villain. You hear everyone say now we're in our villain era. There's nothing wrong with that. Outcasts, black sheep, villains, they are the ones who speak truth to power. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I wanted to tell you to keep doing what you're doing because people are watching and they're listening. And I just had a phone conversation not too long ago with K Tubes. Hey Alvin, Alvin, we need to do a panel. It is a lot going on. So we need to talk in the short stack chat. Hi Chrissy. I think she's just coming in. But I was saying about speaking truth to power and telling K Tubes this. I said I want to do it in my own way. I don't want to be like anybody else. When you feel
No,
left out or excluded for speaking truth to power, it's typically because you're doing something right. And then those same people who disregard what you're saying will come back to you. Because trust me, I felt it all along. I felt like, oh my God, nobody's paying attention to me. I'm like the crazy lady sitting on the park bench saying the sky is falling. When no, something is going on. Something is going on, but the sky's not falling, but something is going on. You know that something is coming. And as a woman, I've tapped into my intuition. Women, we
mm,
have intuition. So we sense when danger is coming and near. We sense all of these things. And I have foreshadowed and I predicted. I said, if this man gets back in the White House, it's going to be chaos and terror and hell on earth like never before. And that is what we're witnessing right now. You can go back to some of
it's,
our past interviews, y'all.
it's crazy though because um I will have to. I want to talk about this another time because my time is starting to get short. But
Okay.
I will say this: Harris was going to slowly push us forward, where we all wake up and realize that we are one. Trump, he's fucking up to the point the people that don't want to acknowledge it or accept it, has to wake up and realize there's no white and black. We all are one. We have one group of people attacking everybody, and I don't know how that seems to be morally like makes sense when it's like you attack the world, attack every country, attack all groups of people, and assume that that is how the world's supposed to be. No. So his actions is actually going to backfire in a way that we're going to suffer, but we're going to wake up and realize there's never been a white and black. There's never been a Spanish in this. No, cultures are different. People are all the same. We all bleed red. Everybody got a white, light, dark, gray, color person in their family, blonde, blue, green, whatever it is. Everybody got a little something, something. There's no, there's no difference. We're human. We're human. And eventually people realize your next door neighbor is not your next door neighbor. That's your brother. That's your sister. That's your friend. We can all eventually get back to the Native American way and like really communion and work together to live in peace and harmony. Because honestly, without that being a moral foundation of America, this is all just chaos because everybody is being run by social constructs created only to manage them in a new way of slavery. That's it. Social constructs. Trump is
Bingo. Thank you.
Trump is on an old
Thank you for
school
saying that.
system. Yeah, Trump is
Old,
old school,
outdated.
and it's
One
not
more
gonna work.
time. What you just said. Old, outdating thinking and way of just living. How they are th- pushing us back, turning back the clock to like the 1940s, to like the
And it won't work.
1950s. It's
It
different
won't
time
work.
periods. It's not working. People
It's
are
not gonna
fed
work.
up. They're tired. They're angry. And especially
Yeah.
after the most recent decision today with the Supreme Court, I told K2, I said, brother, I am 38 hot right now. I am 38 hot right now. At their that they are allowing this shit. We are powerless. We can't really do anything but use
No,
our
no, no. We're
voices.
not powerless, and our voices is not. Our voices is enough, but we're not powerless until everybody wake up and realize that.
And some of his supporters are starting to get their wake up calls. We
Yeah.
your apologies. See y'all apologizing and having buyer's remorse.
See, what happens, what people don't realize is the only reason why the American dollar is even valued is because slavery was free. That was it. We are the reason that gave that money value because of all the work that we put into this country to help build it. Us, number one. Number two, the Asians. Number three, the Spanish, the Mexicans. Hell, America is not even an English name. It's a Spanish name. And the Spanish people, they're just victims of a system too because it's like y'all not even Spanish. Y'all are Americans from the colonizers, but y'all are basically the native Indians and black people that were here on the land. That's what y'all are. Y'all just speak Spanish because of those people that came to colonize and steal this country and sell it to the Englishmen who now claims that they conquered and stole, I mean, didn't steal the country, it's theirs. But long story short, um, I'm just slowly going into my purpose. Eventually, we will be back into production and film, and I will be casting and I will be getting my crew together for the show, and we're going to have a good time. And whatever we do, I want to make sure that it's impactful, it's purposeful, and is if you think it's not a meaning behind some of the stuff that's done, sit back and analyze why did they do that and why was this advertising, why was this picked to be a part of the show, and then you understand sometimes everything seems not seen because a lot of stuff that I've watched, I realized that they really been trying to tell people for the longest about the past, the present, and the future, and we won't wake up and understand. Sometimes those movies have a bit of the truth.
And you
It's a
know
bit,
who else? I'm a literary giant over here. So what Q is saying is absolutely correct. Uh, Toni Morrison has warned us. Y'all know I love me some Toni Morrison. I have two of her novels that I might bring on the show Friday and show. I have two of them that I absolutely love, and then the other one is Paradise. Maya Angelou has also warned us. and foreshadowing as well too. So many others. But I can't keep Q Fashion Dolls. He's on the clock right now, but I'm going to continue this discussion on what we can do to bridge the gap. But before we let you go, Q, what would you tell anybody? And again, don't ever think your voice is not heard because it is, and the
Well,
masses are listening.
what I will say is, I would like it if anyone that's watching wants to have this conversation and talk about these topics and any topic. Um, Please feel free to DM me on Instagram, QUE Dawkins, DAWKINS, and let's set up a live. Let's set up a. Let's probably have you on the show. Let's just stay consistent where we're communicating with each other and we tossing our ideas from different perspectives and letting other people hear it. So at least we can wake those who are watching us wake up too. Because maybe I can learn something from you. Maybe you can learn something from me. Or maybe we both can come to a epiphany and learn something and be like, oh shit. Like, but I mean, you just never know who you can learn from. But at the end of the day, live with purpose, live your life, live in your truth, be happy, anything that you do come from the heart and soul, and just be true. Life tomorrow's not promised to us, so if anything, just know that being sleeping, not living your life, that is the worst way to die. So now
Absolutely.
you have to define what that means to live your life and be alive. That's the next step. But I enjoyed this live with you. I always love talking with you, and this is another good segment. And thank you for having me. Um, I mean,
I know. And we'll talk later. I sent you those dates to come back. We'll chat after work. So you text me
okay,
after work and we'll chat.
got you. Will do. Peace.
All right, Fashion Dolls, Q Dawkins. Make sure y'all go and follow him on IG. Um, I, Alvin is here. We've got Alvin, Chris, K Tooks, all of you guys. Thank y'all all so much for joining in the conversation. And I hope you all have taken away from what Q just said as well as myself. But we're going to talk a little bit about the most recent Supreme Court decision. How do you exit? It should be a button at the top, a X. Or there we go. There we go. All right, are y'all still here? Can we talk about the latest decision today? The Supreme Court. Um, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris just released a statement on the court's decision in Louisiana versus Conalai. Okay, let's talk about that. Today's Supreme Court ruling guts the Voting Rights Act and turns back the clock on the foundational promise of equality and fairness in our election systems. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was one of the last remaining federal protections for black and brown voters against maps deliberately drawn to dilute their political power. The protection has been stripped away. Wow. I'm at a loss for words. This is why I was trying to be coded and cute. With Q, I didn't want to go off, but now I'm trying to be ladylike. Now I can go off the way I really want to go off. And you got this coon. Let's talk about Clarence Thomas for a second. Clarence Thomas has been there since Bush, 1992. That's who he put it on the court. But let's talk about something right here. Let's talk about what Clarence Thomas said today. Let me pull that statement up. It's a lot of things that have me angry and upset right now. But I want to talk about what the coon, Clarence Thomas, the one that's sitting up on the Supreme Court of the majority six, said today. Boom, here we go. Shout outs to Here's Why Kevin. Clarence Thomas says that Voting Rights Act was not meant to give black voters entitlements. How do you think you've gotten in the position that you've gotten in? They didn't just randomly pick your name out of a hat. But see, you're one of the good ones, Clarence. And I can't say what Big Matt said about you, but y'all need to go follow Big Matt underscore 510 on Instagram and check out what he said about this tap dancing ass coon, Clarence Thomas. He ain't never been for the people. And Clarence, like I said when I did my interview with King Jives, 2 words, Anita Hill. We have not forgotten. We have not forgotten. He sided with his conservative colleagues in a new ruling that guts the Voting Rights Act. This will weaken black voting power. Remember the days of where we had to pay poll tax and where we literally had to take literacy tests? Black people, whereas white people, they didn't really have to do all that. But black people, we had to pay $2 poll tax. Yes, and we know who your wife is, that big fat pig, Jenny, you and her accepting expensive gifts. But that's who Clarence Thomas is. He wrote that the court should never have interpreted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to effectively give racial groups an entitlement to roughly proportional representation. I'm going to say partially what Big Matt said about you. He said that you should be taken out back and treated like old Yeller. And that's all I'm going to say. Follow Big Matt on Instagram. Clarence Thomas, you have never been for the people. And it's a lot more. 4 black conservatives that are in what is it, in the Senate, in Congress, they won't be returning. No, no. Y'all done sat out here and y'all done tap danced. And you didn't think it was going to affect me. Just like Candace Owens and the rest of them are getting their wake up call, y'all are getting y'all's wake up call as well, too. And it's only a matter of time. This year alone, African American women and black people, I can't say that word on here on YouTube, but if you know, you know. Read between the lines. Black people, we are losing our lives at an alarmingly high rate. And if you don't think that that shit can't happen to you, just ask Herman Cain. But it wasn't violence that took Herman Cain. It was the Miss Corona. It was, the Corona Light beer that got to use code words. Y'all know what I mean. But it was the Corona Light that took Miss Herman Cain on up out of here. And you got Lindsey Graham up here sitting up here talking about we need a $400 ballroom. A ballroom? We don't need no ballroom. What people want is universal health care. What people want is their right to exist in this country. We don't need a goddamn $400 ballroom. Check my stories this morning for my morning walks because I talked about this. They are now going to go after SSI. They are now going to go after SNAP benefits as well too. And they're going to take them away if you have a family member who is staying with you or if you're disabled yourself. So you are at risk of losing your SSI and your SNAP benefits as a result of everything that this regime is doing. Let's be clear, and I said this before, this is not an administration. This is a regime, and it was listed in Project 2025. And for those of you who acted as if Project 2025 didn't exist, oh, he's not going to do that. Look at what the fuck he's doing right now. This man is talking about putting his face on a passport over the Constitution, which clearly tells you that he has no respect for rule of law and the rules of this country. He does not care. And he's got the Supreme Court, he's got Senate, and he's got Congress in his back pocket. What is it going to take, like you just said, for the rest of his supporters to wake up until it is hurting them and affecting them? That's what I think. He thinks we're living in a communist country, and they look down on disabled people the same way Adolf Hitler looked down on disabled people, as easily disposable, easily to discard. And what it's going to be is going to be mass incarcerations in these facilities and internment camps. They're building them in the mass. They're just popping up randomly. Hi, Lotus Egyptian Flower. We're talking about the latest Supreme Court decision today. And I'm pretty sure you've been privy to that. It's going to water down our voting powers. See, if Republicans can't come up with policies and legislation that would help us, the American people, what they would do is cheat. Fuck it. Just cheat. They've already stolen the midterms from you. And the general election, you can kiss that goodbye. So the same way they turned away black and brown voters in Texas when it was Jasmine Crockett versus James Tallarico at the polls now, y'all. Remember that. And y'all are redistricting in Florida. Ron DeSantis got his congressional maps passed. Y'all are redistricting in districts that are heavily gerrymandered. And Republicans can't come up. No, no, no. They don't have plans, Alvin and y'all. They have concepts of plans. Mhm. They have concepts of plans. That's what they have. They don't have a plan that's going to help us, the American people. The Supreme Court decision is going to flip a law in Los Angeles. I should have known you were already on it. Girl, yes. I told y'all. Listen, when I seen that Lotus Egyptian Flower, girl, I was so mad. I was on the phone with K Toops. K Toops was like, oh, sis, I can't pay attention to none of that. Well, it's going to impact us all as black and brown voters in this country. And there are some brown voters, like Latinos, Mexican, and Hispanic, who also voted for Donald Trump because y'all want to be white aligned. That's why. I want to run away from the country, but I will be leaving behind what our ancestors built. Louisiana. Yeah. I thought you meant Los Angeles when you said LA. But yes, Louisiana. They're going to be doing this in heavily black and brown districts. Look at the way they voted in Georgia. We know that they wasn't going to vote for Sean Harris. So they chose a MAGA backed candidate because they are racist. What the fuck do y'all hate black people so bad for? What do y'all hate us for so bad? Is the question. Because we are amazing inventors, because we are able to accomplish things that y'all haven't been able to accomplish other than stealing our fucking culture. Y'all want our jazz, but you don't want our blues. And then when the plight comes down to being black and being pulled over, y'all will weaponize that black privilege. Y'all will turn it on. Now, certain white people I fuck with, and then there's certain white people I don't fuck with. But to y'all MAGA voters out here that are apologizing, saying, oh my God, we didn't vote for this. We're sorry. We're sorry. No, too late. And as Tennessee Brando would say, it is too late to put the toothpaste back in the goddamn tube. Y'all motherfuckers fucked up big time with this one. I don't think black people, we will ever be able to forgive you. Y'all are going to have to start kissing our feet, literally, for this one right here. This kind of wound hurts deep. And it's been deep for 400 years. What else is going on? Oh, remember the ICE agent who took the life of the mom of three, Renee Nicole Good? Jonathan Ross? Jonathan Ross, who took her life, is back to work and safely transported to another location. We don't know where he's at, but he's going to be back out there. And this happened today. While our backs were turned also, $70 billion. Republicans passed a budget of $70 billion that will be funded all the way up until 2029 for these ICE agents. And guess who will be paying it? Us, the American working class people, will be paying that. This big old grand ballroom that Donald Trump and Ladybug Lindsey Graham want to give Donald Trump, that'll be coming out of our hard earned tax paying dollars. We'll be built footing the bill for that. This passport that he wants with his face on it, we will also be footing the bill for that. So, like you just said a few minutes ago, what this is going to do is it's going to weaken the US currency. Notice how other countries are ahead in technology, ahead in currency and science and so many things. Remember, he just recently fired people on the National Board of Science. That's dangerous if you don't believe in science and medicine. And you've got RFK Jr. in charge of the healthcare, Health Human Services, MAFA or MAWA, or Maha, yeah, Maha. Make America healthy again. No, you're taking people's lives as a result of everything that you're doing. It's not making us healthy. Rep Khanna wants to push a bill that would increase minimum wage. All of my viewers are hardworking class people. All of us are hardworking American class people. I'm not being paid to do Style by Stevie. Boom, bombshell. There you have it. I don't get paid for doing this. I do this because I think that people deserve to have truth to power. And by me using the little bit of influence that I have, my voice to encourage people, like you just said, I said we're powerless. It's pretty much nothing really we can do except do what we're doing now. There will be a massive strike going on in May, though, an economic blackout. So y'all stay tuned for that. Yes, there will be an economic blackout. So, didn't I tell y'all that the black dollar is powerful? How many of y'all have stopped shopping at Walmart, stopped shopping at Target altogether? Listen, I don't shop at any of those stores. And thank you, brother, for the compliments on my tumbler over here. I purchased this years ago from Walmart. Years ago. Heard me past tense, years ago. That was when Biden was in office. I wouldn't go to Walmart now. No corporation that is backing fascism and terrorism deserves to get any of my hard-working, tax-paying dollars. And yes, it will be an economic blackout. Don't spend a goddamn penny unless you spend it within your own who look like me, black owned. And I told y'all don't have to send me no cash apps or nothing. I do this because this is what I love, which is to speak truth to power. Somebody has to be on the front lines doing it. Either you're doing what my colleague Alvin Tit for Tat This and That is doing, which is if you go back to his channel, take a minute, jump on from me and going over to his channel. You will see him boots on the ground, protesting, advocating. You have to cause a disruption. And it's going to be us to overthrow our own fucking government. We have to, y'all. We can do this. You don't do what the shit he did back in 2020, January 6th, 2021. You don't do that shit causing insurrection, but you're going to have to overthrow this motherfucker some way or another. The people have spoken in Virginia. They don't want fascism, and neither do we. People are hurting, people are suffering, people are dying. And you want to take away people's goddamn hard-earned money that they paid into. People pay into Social Security. This is their money. The White House is our house, the American people's house, not your house. You don't get a ballroom like you're Elton John or somebody. And I love Elton John. But Donald, you don't get a lavish ballroom without hard-earned tax-paying dollars. No way. And Ladybug Lindsey Graham, you're running for re-election, but you still ducking and dodging that question. Do y'all? And we just gonna put it out there. It's not queer phobic because he is. Lindsay, you one of the girls. We've been known this about you. You one of us, honey. You one of the girls. So, Ladybug, you might as well just go on ahead and come on out that closet, honey. But when that guy asked you that goddamn question, your ass was skipping for the heels in your heels. When I tell you he's took off like Michael Johnson, ran like Michael Johnson, when a homeboy asked him, Lindsay, are you gay? He didn't answer, no response. He took off. We know the obvious. Trust me, our gaydars and detectors go off to know that you one of the girls, honey. And there's nothing wrong with that. But see, he can't admit it because see, if you admit that in the Republican Party, they're not going to accept it. And I said this when I did my interview with Country Boy Kiki. I said that you cannot be gay, black, and conservative, but Lindsay is not black. He's gay and conservative. And he's not going to come out of that closet because there's too many beautiful gowns in there for him to wear. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't forget the bubble wands too, Alvin, because let's see, he took his ass on when they were debating on whether or not to fund ICE. His ass was in Disneyland somewhere with a bubble wand. We didn't forget that, Lindsay. And you represent my city of South Carolina. I'm going to make sure that black voters overwhelmingly down here. I'm going to continue to keep educating black voters on the importance of voting in midterms in these upcoming elections. And especially with the Supreme Court decision today in Louisiana, I'm pissed. I'm fired up. So if redistricting is the game that y'all want to play, game on, bitch. Because if you don't think that they're going to do it in Florida, Dems are going to come for your ass. And I detect the color of the dress that I'm wearing today, a massive blue wave coming. So they got to resort to every means necessary to keep themselves in power, and that is to cheat. Gerrymander the hell out of maps in red states that are predominantly already heavily gerrymandered. You got to do it in blue states too. You're trying to do it in purple states. You're going to try to do it. Ron DeSantis passed his maps in Florida. So, Lindsay, no, your buddy doesn't get a $400 million ballroom. What else is going on? Look at this shit, y'all. Look at this. Just look at it. I want you to take a look at this because this right here is what he's planning to do. He's planning to put his face over the U.S. Constitution on your U.S. passports. And this is from the U.S. State Department. Those are the finalizing plans. He wants his signature on the back on the what is it on the dollar. He wants to put his face on a $250 bill. You want to build an ark in your likeness. All of this is going to cost us, the American class, the American hardworking class, tax-paying people. It's going to come out of our money. It's not going to come from other countries because that's some of the lies that you motherfuckers seem to follow. Now, I'm not calling my audience here motherfuckers, but I'm talking about the motherfuckers that voted for this big orange pig motherfucker that's in the White House right now. Let's be very clear. But like I was saying, I'll be damned if I'm going to get a passport and I see this orange ass son of a bitch face plastered all over the front of it. He put his name on the Kennedy Center, y'all. He's taking over every aspect of us to be able to express our creativity and celebrate our talents. The Kennedy Center is one of the most prestigious centers where people have received awards, people were honored who've done things to to break barriers in this country. And now he's went and he's put his name in the front of it. The Trump Kennedy Center. You're saying you want to be able to move Madison Square Garden. You asked that question if you could move Madison Square Garden. Now you're wanting to put your face on on people's US passports? You want a $250 bill, you want to build an ark? You want us to also to continue to keep funding Israel? This war with Iran is costing us. Gas is now up $4 per gallon down here in South Carolina. And in LA, the last time I checked, it was up by $7. Move Madison Square Garden where to Dubai? Oh, that yeah, these other countries are flourishing. But if we were to pick up the whole building of Madison Square Garden, I would sit that son of a bitch right on top of you, and you would be looking like the Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz right now. Can y'all imagine those little orange cankles? I'm never gonna stop riding your punk pussy ass, you orange motherfucker. It's up from here. And the American people, we have spoken. And I'm gonna be able to continue to keep saying the things that they can't say. But let me calm myself down. But this is real though. This is the stuff that he wants to do. He said he didn't even know about the Supreme Court ruling. He had no idea he was working on the ballroom. And this was just 2 hours ago. You know why your the rest of your regime don't tell you anything? Well, for war, especially for war plans, they've literally had to stop giving you intel information because you have been spiraling out on Truth Social. You get on Truth Social and you do these long ass paragraphs. You crashing the fuck out. You're losing it. Grandpa needs to go take a nap. Fascist grandpa needs to go take a nap. Did y'all see where Melania snatched that goddamn hand back from him? And both of your fucking hands are bruised? And you think you are in tip top shape? You got your pants pulled up over your goddamn navel, and you sitting up here talking about you're in perfect health and condition. Your hands, both of your dead, cold, deprived hands, and you want to stay in power. Your ass is 80 years old. You are a decrepit looking old orange pig looking motherfucker. And I'm never gonna stop roasting you. I'm gonna put your ass in the oven and I'm gonna press cook every single time somebody asks me, how do I feel about Donald Trump? We got a running joke over here. We don't call him Donald Trump. We call him Orange Piggy. I hate the motherfucker. And yes, his Alzheimer's kicking in. His ass can't stay awake neither. And like James Carville said, I got Trump derangement syndrome. And it's nothing in the world. It's everything in the world that can make me keep hating this man for everything that he's doing to hurt people in this country. So you can call me delusional, you can call me crazy, but I'm never gonna take my foot off of that motherfucker's neck. It's up. And he ain't gonna do nothing but call his new attorney general Todd Blanche. We know your ass is in the Epstein files. Mention Morge and Jehovah Jireh. And you got your nerve, your audacity to be sitting up here calling a black calling a black woman low IQ. You got your nerve and your audacity to be sitting up here calling a female journalist piggy. And the way Nora O'Donnell absolutely did what would have expected her to do, which is push back on you. You're spazzing out. I'm not a P. I can't say that word here on YouTube, but you know, you are. You're in the Epstein files, man. And I literally have the picture of you, Melania, and Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein. You're in the Epstein files. That's why he's up. Yeah, and then we don't see the shit till we wake up 4 in the morning. He done got up tweeting. It is time for Grandpa to take a nap. And I'm not just talking about the one where he goes to bed and he wakes up. No, it's time. His time is coming, y'all. He's ill and something is going on. They don't want to release and let us see this man's cognitive health studies. He don't want none of that. They don't want us to see it. That one question got under his skin though, Alvin. And he started, I'm not, yes, the fuck you is. Well, what are you then? You think you married Sister Mary Joseph? Sister Mary Magdalene? You're not that, babes. You are a predator. That's what you are. You are a 34-time convicted felon. That's what you are. Twice impeached. You are a draft dodger. But you're talking about sending people's sons to die in a war automatically now. You're drafting them automatically, 18 to 25. Keep in mind of that. But see, that would exclude us because see, Keg's Breath made it very clear that he don't want no blacks, no gays, no trans, none of that, women, none of that in the military. He wants an all-white military because see, the way Hitler thought, he could get young, agile, strapping white males to be in the military. So that would exclude us. So to the ones that voted for Donald Trump overwhelmingly, be prepared to send your son to go fight in this war. Let me read some of y'all's comments. And I'm going to continue on roasting this orange motherfucker. She barely pushed back on him. She started kissing his ass towards the interview. Yeah, CBS, ABC, Warner Brothers, the Paramount merger. You're going to see a lot of networks capitulate and bend the knee. CNN is now going to be like a Fox News. And hear me when I tell you, they're holding on to Abby Phillip and Laura Coates, who are, from what I see, the only two African American women on CNN. They done got rid of Don Lemon. They done got rid of Joy Reid off of MSNBC. They done took her show from her. You're going to see a lot more journalists be fired for speaking truth to power if they don't capitulate. Remember George Stephanopoulos, 52 million, the deal where they literally apologized to Donald Trump, shook hands, and gave him what he wanted. And if you don't think that they're going to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air again, you are sadly mistaken. With Barry Weisner and this new FCC, Brendan Carr, and I know y'all watching lives as well too of influencers and other people. I don't give a fuck. You can't take my broadcaster license, bitch. I'ma say whatever I want to say about that orange motherfucker, and I ain't never gonna stop speaking on him. Fuck him and his cankles and his feelings. And they say, "Oh, I didn't vote for this." Yes, the hell you did. You voted for this. Brendan Carr, you can't censor me. I will never shut up. I'm not in mainstream media. I'm not in mainstream ABC, CBS, Viacom. I'm not on none of that. This independent over here. You're going to see a lot of journalists go to Substack or either come on here on YouTube. That's what's going to happen. Let me read some more of y'all's comments. I'm sitting by you at his funeral. Lotus Egyptian flower. Yes. I, listen, I've already got my dress picked out. I'm just waiting on that big old grand announcement. Me, Alvin, and Deshaun, and everybody, we have a running joke that when it's time for Orange Piggy to go on home to glory, you better believe Bubs the God will be one of the first ones that I'm gonna call all my short stack family members. I'm gonna do a group call. And I'm gonna say, oh well, bye bitch. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The orange piggy is dead. We're gonna celebrate, we're gonna rejoice. But see, not only just that, hold tight to the celebration because next in line is that couch fucker, JD Vance, who said he would be happy to take over may something happen to Donald Trump. And we know that JD Vance is what? He is a part of the Heritage Foundation. That press secretary, that airhead ass bitch, Lion KKK, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, who got up here and said if you critique Donald Trump about what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, then you're a fascist. No, no, no. We're not the ones that said we wanted to be dictator on day one. That orange piggy did. Yes, this is exactly what they signed up for, Chrissy. Don't come crying to black people. We will not help you. We're clocked out. This is y'all shit. Fix it. Because we know what will happen exactly. And I told Alvin this and I say it all the time on the panel. If we get up in mass and go out to the streets, what are they going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, martial law or the Insurrection Act. And I have a feeling with you taking away people's SNAP benefits and their SSI benefits, it's going to be a whole lot of looting and tearing shit up. You take away a person's food and their money. That's two things you don't do is you don't take away a people's means to provide for their families. But see, y'all are healthy. Y'all are able to afford. We seen a picture that Kegsbreath posted. Y'all riding around in what is it, Air Force One and private jets, using the military's helicopters, riding Kid Rock around, Kegsbreath and Kid Rock. That's what y'all are doing on the hardworking American tax-paying people's dime at our expense. That's what Pete Kegsbreath, my lip gloss running. Pete Kegsbreath and Kid Rock are out here doing. And we're the ones footing the bill. So to the ones that said, I didn't vote for this is not what I voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. And it might take them suffering, for them to actually wake up and realize that you made a very horrible decision. And no, we will never forgive you. Never forgive you. Y'all fucked up way too many times with black people. Y'all fucked us over way too many times. We can't trust y'all now. And so some of the ones that are incels in our community as well too, the black collective who jumped on the Trump bandwagon all because of the issue of trans and your Christian values. How's your harvest going for you to the farmers out there? And yes, I am checking people's political affiliation. So I told you means and ways that you can check to see if your favorite celebrity, family member, friend, whomever, you want to know how they voted or who they're donating to in this election and any election. Head on over nicely to the FEC, Federal Election Commission's website, and it will gladly tell you who voted for whom. Just like Chile donated to Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. Chili from TLC. And then to find out the news that she voted for Trump, which bandmate was T-Boz talking about? Left Eye's no longer here with us. There's only one band member still standing, and that is Chili. Oh, my finger accidentally pressed the wrong button. Well, guess what? My finger decided not to press the wrong button on purchasing tickets for that tour you and Salt and Pepper and En Vogue had. I was really looking forward to that. And to the ones that are out here saying, well, oh, the fake woke culture. I think Chris Brown said something about that. Chris Brown is a abuser and he's a colorist. Why would I want to go see an abuser and a PDF sympathizer? Because Usher said that, Diddy was done wrong in that interview. No, not from the video that we saw of him dragging Cassie down the hallway. I think it's called accountability. I don't think he was done wrong. It's called accountability. If you are a monster, if you are a PDF, you get treated as a PDF and monster gets treated. You don't get everyday luxuries that everyday hardworking people get. So no, I'm not interested in going to see a colorist and a pedo sympathizer. And then real quick before I get on up off of here, joining me Friday, May 1st, we have Andrea Russell. But let me read a few more of you guys' comments. Yep, she sure did. She tried to say, well, I'm not tech savvy. Chilla, you have a son. Your son Tron could have helped you if you're not tech savvy. But you donated to Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, the same Ted Cruz who left his constituents stranded in the middle of a national weather disaster. People have lost their homes. Homelessness is about veterans have got put out of their homes. And Republicans are able to go on private jets. They're able to go to these lavish events. And this is all off of the backs of hardworking American tax-paying dollars. Us, we're footing the bill. So yes, y'all, that's all I got for today. Um, we just got to make sure that we are voting in state, local, and federal elections. It starts locally. If we got to rein in some of those powers, it starts locally. That's what we got to do. And electing officials who understand us. That's where it starts. Make sure you check your voter registration. Make sure you are registered to head to those polls November 3rd, because I told y'all what they did back in 2024. They literally purged voters off of the rolls. Ballot boxes were set on fire during the 2024 election. So, with the most recent Supreme Court decision of rolling back the Voting Rights Act, what else do you think they're going to do? I wouldn't be surprised if they started bringing back poll tax by now. Remember, you had to pay poll tax, you had to take a literacy test. I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing that. John Lewis, the late John Lewis, literally fought so that we could have voting. Septima from South Carolina, look her up. Septima Clark also fought for us to have voting rights. And now to see that they're going to dilute our powers and our voices, it angers me. It angers me. And you should be too. So I'm going to conclude with that today, Fashion Dolls. I love y'all all. I will be back Friday, May 1st, off the new month of May. We have some great collaborations coming on. I'm pretty sure you guys are catching on to the clue of who's going to be coming on next month. I will say this: Deshaun knows who it is, and he is sworn to secrecy. So I will just give you a clue. Midas Touch Network. That's all. Stay tuned. Make sure that y'all are following. That lineup will drop Friday, May 1st. Follow me on Instagram at stylebystevie_daytime. Make sure you are subscribed to me here on YouTube. Hit that bell and select all so you'll be notified. You can go back and you can hype up as many live videos as you want to here on YouTube. And good news, the days are going down until my restriction on IG, Instagram has been lifted. I have 200 days. So those numbers are going to start going down, going down, going down. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be able to go back live on my true home, which is Instagram. So, yes, yes, yes. Your girl is coming back, and I'm coming back with the vengeance. So, to Megan Kelly, girl, I'm never going to let up off of your ass. Never going to let up off of your ass, bitch. And that's all I got to say in today's show, Fashion Dolls. I love y'all all. Y'all be safe and be easy. I'm about to go get me something to eat. I don't know what we got to eat. I'll probably make me some French fries. And I will see y'all later on this evening. Take care, everybody. Midas Touch. You know who it is? Deshaun must have told you. Okay. Yes. Well, stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. We've got more collaborations coming as well too. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. A very special thank you to Q Dawkins. I love y'all, Fashion Dolls, and we will be back Friday, May 1st with Andrea Russell. Till next time, take care, everybody. Oh, he didn't tell you. Yes. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the reveal. Friday, May 1st, the lineup will drop, the new lineup. And I have some other things cooking up, some more collaborations that I'm working on trying to get as well too. Until the ink is dry, just make sure you stay tuned here. And I love y'all all, and I will see y'all Friday, Fashion Dolls. Take care, everybody.